Okay, I have to comment on this article regarding a Pennsylvania couple that was shot dead in a murder suicide by a neighbor for shoveling snow in his yard. As it's revealed, the gunman was an engineer and U.S. Navy veteran. I could feel this veteran because if I'm out there shoveling snow and you have these neighbors that live across the street from you, and when you remove the snow from your yard, they in turn, being a jerk, shovel snow back into your yard. Now, according to this article, the Navy veteran had asked them to stop several times and they refused. I always say in videos, leave people alone. You have no idea what's going on in that person's mind. Now, I believe the Navy veteran had just recently moved in that neighborhood. Either it was the veteran or the couple that recently moved into that neighborhood. Somebody was new. I read that in an article somewhere. Somebody, one of those couples, one of them were new. Either the couple or the Navy veteran was new in that neighborhood. But for some reason, the couple across the street had an issue with this man that they knew nothing about that lived by himself. Again, I say, leave people alone. Now, I know quite a few veterans. I'm a veteran myself. And in most cases, in many cases, veterans, they stay to themselves. They're not really troublemakers. We don't go out looking for trouble. And most veterans, especially if they're combat veterans, they don't bother people, man. They're dealing with their own issues. I know quite a few veterans that have some real issues, PTSD. Um, they are suicidal. Just a lot of issues that's going on with them. Disabled in some form or another. I've seen veterans with their legs blown off, no arms. And these are young people that's trying to work their way back into the system, back into civilian life. And you move into a neighborhood and you have some neighbors that know nothing about you, but yet they judge you because they don't know you, because you're quiet, because you mind your own business. You have people that would just, either they're nosy or they just have to find some way to try to ease their way into your life. Now, there's a video that's attached to this, and I'm not sure if y'all saw the video, but the veteran walked away. He walked away in his house, and the couple kept pursuing him, calling him a pussy, calling him a queer, threatening him. And then when the veteran came back out of his house with the firearm, the wife and the husband pursued him. And the wife was saying, go ahead, go ahead. And guess what? He shot them both, and you could hear the dude that got shot, you can hear him yelling like a pussy, right? Now, I'm going to read a portion of this article. This is the couple right here. Now, she don't look like she's the type of person that would cause problems with somebody. She just don't have that look, man. She look like she's somebody that would probably work in the medical field, but the husband looks like a jerk though, you know. But if she's married to a jerk, 9 times out of 10, she's going to start taking on some of his traits. You see, this man is in his yard. Keep in mind, this guy never left his driveway. And he shot them both where they are because they were walking But it almost looked like this woman, when she said go ahead, it looked like she had something in her hand. For a moment, it looked like, when you watch the video, I'm going to put the link on the bottom, but when you look at her hands, it looked like she came out of her pocket or her coat with something. And he shot them. Now, I think if the veteran had not have killed himself, if he had a good attorney, he could get away with that, because in Pennsylvania, they have the stand your ground case. They have that law. I don't know. He went back into the house and came back out, so they might try to get him on that. But Pennsylvania have a stand your ground law. And this man was threatening him. The neighbor was threatening him and said that he would make his life a living hell. And you can hear the veteran calmly yelling back at him across the street. And he goes in the house, get his firearm, come back out. Now, this dude was probably already going through something, the veteran. And this was his time, because he figured, okay, I did this, I'm not going to prison. So he decided to take himself out. In many cases, war veterans, we don't surrender. Right? Most of us don't really surrender to a lot of veterans got that mentality that you're not gonna take me down, copper. I'd rather take my own life than to spend my life in prison. You have a lot of veterans, a lot of people have that mindset, that mentality. But I'm going to read a portion of this. A Pennsylvania couple shot dead in a murder-suicide by their neighbor for shoveling snow into his yard have now been pictured. As it is revealed, the gunman was an engineer and Navy veteran. James Coy, 50, and his wife Lisa Coy, 48, were gunned down at close range in the middle of their street in Plains Township on Monday after getting into a fight with their neighbor. Now, this is the video. I'm not going to play it, but I want you guys to watch this video and listen to what the couple is saying, watch what they're doing, and then pay attention to the veteran. He actually walked away. Listen, when you're talking and making threats at a person and they turn around and walk away and you start calling them a pussy, you think they are afraid. Or if you're outside and you got somebody that would turn around and go back to their car, you don't stand there and try to pretend how bad you are, because you have no idea what that person's going back to get. And that's what happened. So I really don't feel sorry for this couple. They got what they deserve, because they should have left that man alone. The minute that veteran walked away and went into his house, they should have turned around. They should have put their pride down, turned around, and went back into their own yard. But they kept pursuing him. They kept making threats, talking about what they were going to do. They were going to knock him out. They were going to make his life a living hell. It said the gunman, 47-year-old Jeffrey Spade, took his own life inside his home before police arrived at the scene. Now, I read an article that said that after he shot this couple, they can see him in the window pacing back and forth. And then it finally took his own life. It says, harrowing surveillance footage in the lead up to the shooting shows the couple screaming at Spade from outside their home before he emerged with a handgun and fired several shots, leaving them injured. Now, in the video, that looked like a rifle. It didn't look like no handgun. It looked like a rifle he had in his hands, I'm going to have to watch that video again, but it looked like he had a rifle, not a handgun. Authorities said Spade then went back inside his home and retrieved an AR-style rifle, which he used to execute the couple in the street. That's them right there. Now they have a 15-year-old autistic son that they left behind, or because of the fact that they decided to go at this neighbor. It says an online obituary for the gunman has revealed that he had previously worked as an engineer with the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Army National Guard, and Navy Reserve. He had worked as a licensed engineer for more than 20 years, and he most recently had worked with the Lackawanna River Basin Sewer Authority and the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. The obituary did not address his cause of death, saying only that he died at his home on Monday. Spade was not married and he doesn't have any children, according to the obituary. He was described as a loving man, brother, and uncle who loved running marathons and spending time with his family. The neighbor he shot dead are survived by their 15-year-old autistic son. Authorities say the murder-suicide unfolded after Spade had gotten into an argument with the couple because they were clearing snow from their cars and dumping it on his property across the street. See, sometimes you don't have to really go far to look for trouble, man. Trouble will come looking for you. And then you stop trouble dead in the spot, just like this veteran did. It says the neighbors are believed to have a history and had been involved in altercations following a storm just 2 months ago. Police had no record of prior incidents between Goys and Spade. The gunman was also not known to police for any other matter, so he had no police record. And this is something that's been going on. And people get tired, man. People will get tired and put you to sleep. It says during Monday's incident, authorities say Spade had asked the pair to stop shoveling snow onto his property when the argument broke out. This is the part I want you guys to see, and you can watch the video to watch it for yourself. The surveillance footage showed James throwing aside his tool and walking up to Spade as he made a fist at him. The Goys could be heard screaming at Spade, calling him a mother effer and a pussy. Spade could be seen retreating into his house as James screamed, "I'll knock your ass out and I'll make your life a living hell." Look at these threats. Moments later, Spade emerged from his home holding a pistol. The Goys, seeming undeterred, continued to scream, with Lisa yelling, "Go ahead, go ahead." Spade then fired several shots before eventually striking the couple. James could be heard screaming out while his wife collapsed in the street. He then went back into his house and emerged moments later with an AR-15 style rifle, which he used to execute his neighbors. "You should have kept your mouth shut," he could be heard telling Lisa before he pulled the trigger. And I'm going to read this last portion. Prosecutor said Spade retreated into his home and paced back and forth in the front of a window. They said he shot himself dead as the first police unit responded to the scene. So this is tragedy, man. But they deserved it, man. They deserved it because you should have left people alone. I always say, man, leave people alone, man. Leave them alone. If there's people, man, that move into your neighborhood and they quiet, they don't bother nobody, especially if dude is living by himself. He's probably living by himself for a reason, man. He don't want to be bothered with people. You got people like that, man, that just don't want to be bothered. And he's like minding his business. I remember when, and I shared this story before, when I first moved into this house, this street had nothing but white people. It was all whites and one black family. The one black dude, the white people got into his head, the ones, because he was cool with all the neighbors, right? Because he fit in well. And they assumed that I was a drug dealer because at the time I worked for Digital. No, I worked for Crucible Steel. And I was out on an injury. And so, but when I moved into the house, I had different trucks come in delivering furniture and stuff like that. And they were being nosy. See, it's not always good to be nosy, man. Mind your business. And they thought in their minds that I was a drug dealer. So what they did was they put this dude up, this black dude, Kenny, they put him up to come down and try to get close to me to find out what's going on in my house. So one day I'm unloading my van. My brother was with me, and my brother was doing the lifting for me because I couldn't do any lifting at the time. So we unloading the van and whatnot. Kenny comes down, says to me like he was all friendly, "What's all this activity going on down here?" And I played it off because I knew exactly what was going on. And I said, "Yo, man, I got some serious drugs, dude." I said, and his eyes got all big, and I said, "I'm just kidding, man." He gave out this phony laugh, but it just goes to show that you got people that do not mind their business, man. I just moved in here, and here it is. I got nosy neighbors snooping around trying to figure out what's going on in my yard instead of just staying in their own yard. There's people on my street that you don't even see. The only time you see them is when they're going to work. Got a neighbor up the street, a Puerto Rican dude across the street, another girl across the street, and then there's another neighbor down the street. We all mind our business. We're not concerned about what somebody else is doing unless it's right there in our face. So leave people alone. I don't know how many times I could keep saying that, man. You got people online, man, that pick fights with people under invisible accounts, and they don't realize that your IP address can trace back to you. So just because you're online under a ghost account, under a troll account, don't mean you can't be touched, right? So I'm gonna put the link on the bottom, and you guys can watch the video for yourself. But I don't feel sorry for this couple not one bit. It's just too bad that the veteran took himself out. But then again, if he's a war veteran, man, you have no idea what this dude is dealing with. You know, there was times I talk to veterans all the time, man, that just want to talk. You know, they may have a moment. They're living the war again. I have a cousin that was like that. He passed away. I had a cousin that was like that. He went to Vietnam, and he still had the war in his head, man. And Lawrence make you feel uncomfortable being around him, man, because he'll snap any moment. He'll snap. Last time I went to see Lawrence, I was getting ready to go. He said, "Yo, cuz," he said, "if you ever had any problem up there, man, let me know." He said, "I'll be in and out before they realize what happened," and he meant that. So leave people alone, man. I'm gonna put the article on the bottom. You guys can read it and check out the video for yourself. Comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm fearless.